Hi guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about my thoughts, feelings, symptoms of my second trimester of pregnancy. I can't believe that I'm saying that. I'm at the end of my second trimester, which is wild, but also I'm out of breath just talking, so I feel like, yeah. Grab yourself a brew. I've got an oat latte. Let's get cracking. I've written my notes down on my laptop, which I'm just going to have on my knee because I can't remember anything. I can't structure a sentence. That's one of the biggest symptoms that I found in second trimester pregnancy is you can't function like a normal human. Be even though you're growing a human. Oh, bless you. This hurts. But really, I can't think, I can't do, I can't be. I know, bless you. Pregnancy brain is definitely a thing. But anyway, I'm going to start with the positives first, and then I'm going to go into the negatives. Oh my God, there's 4 little poodle puppies outside. So appointments wise for the second trimester, I believe I had a 16-week appointment, which is the appointment that Faisal was able to come to before he went on tour. That was where my blood pressure was measured, urine sample, kind of regular checks. It was a very quick appointment, but it was nice for my husband to meet my midwife. That all went well. I then had my 20-week scan, but I didn't have it 20-week. I had it at 18 weeks, I think, which confirmed that we are having a girl. Again, that was a really long scan. So your 12-week scan, if you're in your first trimester of pregnancy, or this is all new to you, your 12-week scan is really, really quick. We were, well, for us anyway, I imagine it's different for people, but generally we had a pretty normal 12-week scan. And it was really quick. It was wild seeing everything for the first time, obviously. It was pretty quick, this 20-week scan, because they measure absolutely everything. I think they even measure the size of organs. Every limb, brain, heart, back, spine, everything is measured, so it's quite a long scan, and so that's quite nice if you can have somebody with you. I couldn't have anyone with me purely because no one was free, and none of my family live here, and Faisal's on tour, and I don't know, I'm not bothered about going to appointments on my own. But I think it would have been nice to have someone there, but it didn't really ruin it for me. I was just like, there. But what I will say is I didn't realise that I was so naive. When you go for an ultrasound scan, they put the jelly on you and then they rub in with a sticky stick, and sometimes you can't see anything. Sometimes the baby's in such a way or position that you can't see anything, and basically for the whole first half of the scan, my daughter was fine. She was swimming around, they were able to measure things, she was chilling, she does a lot of yoga poses in my tummy. But all of a sudden, for like the second half, she just would not move. She had got into a position and she was like, yeah, no, this is for me, I'm not moving. Sorry, I'm not moving. And she was like, I found my place, I'm comfortable. And so I had to lift her, I was laying on the bed, I had to lift my knees up and basically do this with my pelvis. She still didn't move. They were like, can you empty your bladder? I was like, please, because you have to drink so much water before I scan. So I was lay there for 25 minutes, desperate for a wee. Then they were like, can you jump up and down? I was jumping up and down, I was dancing, I was twerking, I was throwing all kinds of shapes, and she still wouldn't move. Then they were like, you need to go and drink a fizzy drink and come back in 10 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh. I went to the vending machine, £3 for a drink. And also the only fizzy drinks they had there are brands that we're boycotting. So, you know, the biggest brand of pop, that was all they had in there, so I had to drink that. So I was like, daughter, you are making me pay into one of the worst companies on earth. Anyway, I downed this bottle of pop, which suddenly I was like, my heart was racing. I was like, whoa. And then I felt her kick, and then we went back in it. As soon as she felt the stick on it, she was like, no. And she stopped again. I was like, please, I just want to go home. This appointment has been going on for ages. No one's here with me to keep me company. But she eventually moved. It was really painful, actually. They did say, let us know if it's painful, but then in my head I'm like, well, you have to, I'm not coming back, so you've got a scanner. They were like doing this on my belly. It was quite painful, if I'm honest. Scans aren't normally painful because it's just like, might just be a little bit cold on your tummy. But yeah, they were like doing that just to try and get her, like, just to move her. And in my head I'm like, no. But that was fine. And then what other appointments did I had? I had another blood test because the one that they did initially failed. Got to hear her heartbeat, and in her heartbeat my midwife could not believe how active she is. I've got a very, very active baby. 24-week appointment again, had to go on my own because no one could come with me. But everything was fine, heartbeat's fine. You do a urine test, blood pressure. You, at your 24-week appointment, I think you get your bump measured. So it's on the chart, on the centiles. I'm measuring normal for 24, 25 weeks. But into my third trimester, I won't be measured with a measuring tape anymore, because basically I have a massive fibroid on the front of my womb. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I think I have. It's the size of a grapefruit. It's quite big, and it's basically blocking the baby's exit. It's on the front neck of my womb. So I had a phone call about, sorry, I feel like I said we were going to do positives and negatives. I feel like I'm going to do the appointment stuff out of the way and then go into symptoms. Sorry, the structure is not structuring. Had a phone call from this really funny woman, because you are definitely absolutely knackered because you work for the NHS. So you are exhausted just by default because of how much work you do. But then also, she just had a cracking sense of humour, and I was like, she's just a bit of me. She basically explained to me that I will need extra scan to monitor my fibroid. Basically, it's okay, but either elective C-section or giving birth vagina. Sorry, my camera like stops recording after 10 minutes. I don't know what it said. Either way I give birth it's in the way. So I got quite upset, and I had that phone call, and I was on my own in the flat. Faisal's on toys, but he'd been away for weeks. I just sat and cried. It was quite upsetting. I know people go through a lot on their own, and I'm fine on my own, but there was just certain moments that just were like, oh god, I just needed him to hold me, kind of thing. I won't go into too much detail because obviously no one really needs to know that. It's something that I just have to have monitored more regularly, and hopefully all is okay. So we're going to go over to the positives of the second trimester now, because I don't want it to sound all doom and gloom. So if I'm looking down, it's not because I'm nervy, it's because I can't remember what I'm supposed to say. Positives. I'm able to eat actual meals and not be sick. When I typed this was a few weeks ago, spoke too soon, I'm now being sick. But anyway, I, for the most part, can eat actual meals and not be sick. And like, I could cry thinking about it, because whenever I think of the first trimester, I think I never want it to be like that ever again. But I can now eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and not sick it up-ish. The nausea hasn't gone. The nausea is there 24/7. I am still on medication for nausea, so I've been on medication for like 6 months now. I don't know what it's like to not feel sick. So I feel like when the time comes when I stop feeling sick, I probably will cry. And I've gained weight. I've gained quite a lot of weight, so that's good. You have more energy. I thought I'd have more energy. Thought I'd have more. But I can do a day's work. And I've not yet had to cancel a day's work or a job because I'm too tired to do it. You're exhausted and you're knackered, don't get me wrong. You are still one of the tiredest you'll ever be, or could ever be, or have been so far in your life, but you're able to do things. You're not able to do as much, obviously, but you're able to, you know, go out and meet your friend for like coffee and shopping for a couple of hours. You come back and then you're probably gonna have to nap, but you can do it. The bump, the first trimester, I didn't have a bump. I was skinny because I lost so much weight. I really feel like we focus so much on like pregnancy when people have a bump, but I really think we need to pay more attention on first trimester pregnancy, especially because we tend to go through it so alone because people don't know. And I think that's one of the beauties of social media, is the fact that people put videos out about their first trimester and stuff, because it's such a lonely time. And I think about it now, how on earth do we do it? How? But yeah, the bump is probably the biggest part. I love my bump. I just love it. I used to imagine having one. I've got one now. I love it. I love it. I show it off. I hardly, to be honest, if you follow me on socials or anything, you'll see that I don't really wear any outfits where it's covered up. I get it out all the time. I know some people have an issue with that. I don't care. My bump is beautiful, okay? Big is beautiful. I know that I'm not going to miss being pregnant, but I'm going to miss the bump. Just seeing it change every week, seeing it change every day. Sometimes, and I feel like this is kind of more in the early second trimester. Well, for me anyway. Sorry, I'm generalising here, and I shouldn't do. Because it gives me the ick when people generalise things in pregnancy, because everyone's different. But for me anyway, I would notice... Sorry, I feel like every video I do is always in it. I love people touching my bump. You can come and touch my bump. I really appreciate that people ask for permission, because don't you ever just touch somebody's bump. Ever. Always ask. But for me, because I'm showing it off, basically, people will say, can I touch it? I'm like, yeah, come on, please. In fact, I'm asking people to touch it. I'm like, please hold my bump, because it feels really nice. I'm affectionate anyway, so I love physical touch. My daughter can feel it now. She can feel that. So I want as much contact on my bump as possible, because so she can feel it, because every time I hold my bump she kicks. And also I want her to know how popular her mum is. Kicking! It's the most bizarre thing. When it first happened, Faisal was there and I was like, Faisal, she kicked. I felt it. He was like, really? And at the start of the second trimester, it feels like this. If that makes sense, like little butterfly, little, it's a little bit like, it feels a little bit like wind, so it's kind of hard to navigate if it's a kick or if it's wind. But obviously with wind, if it's wind, you know after it's been if it's wind. So you do learn to know. And then now the kicks can be painful now. They're so, whoa. She kicks as soon as I've eaten, but I think that's like a glucose spike. She kicks a lot a couple of hours after I've eaten, because she's then eating. She kicks if I haven't eaten for a few hours. It's so funny. If I'm hungry, best believe she's going to be kicking me. She's like, Mum, I'm starving. I can now see my tummy move. She kicked so violently the other night that my phone flew out my hand. I'm not lying. Another positive is that it feels more real now. I feel pregnant, I look pregnant, everyone knows I'm pregnant. And the gender reveal, which I vlogged, so if you want to see it, it will be on my channel. Yeah, we had a private scan at around 17 weeks, because Faisal would have most likely, because we thought Faisal was going to miss it, the NHS one, because of being on tour, which was the case. So we had a private scan, and that was, I will never forget that moment. I would never forget that moment. And everyone thought, well, a lot of people in our family thought that she was going to be a boy. And I didn't know, I didn't really have an idea, but I must have done, because I kept calling her she. This was before we knew she was a she. I just kept saying, oh, she's this, or she's going to be like this, and whatever. So I obviously knew, but I just didn't want to own that feeling in case I was wrong, because I don't want to be wrong. But yeah, my dad came up and we went shopping after. It's really wholesome. I'm really glad I vlogged it. And the whole family were on FaceTime, because not everybody could make it. My mum was meant to be there, but she was really sick in hospital. She couldn't make it, but that's why we decided to, you know, be on FaceTime. And I really recommend that, because it's a really long wait from 12 weeks to 20 weeks to find out. And you don't always find out with NHS as well. I don't think they like to confirm it, just in case they're wrong, which is fair enough. And obviously with the NHS scan, it's an anatomy scan to scan all of that. So it's, you know, it's a long scan, and they're doing their job, and they do an amazing job. But if you want that really like fun experience where you can record it and video it and get like memorabilia, go for a private scan if you can afford it. Ours was about £60, but we were glad that we spent the money on it. Or some people, I think my dad paid for it in the end as just a gift, which was really kind of him. So do recommend that. Now for the negatives. I just want to say that I'm being very honest here. I've actually typed hornets instead of honest on my laptops, because I'm not with it. None of what I say, please know, is me being ungrateful, selfish, not realizing my privilege. I'm so aware of how lucky I am, because gratitude is something I preach to everyone, and I practice it every single day. And I know how lucky I am, because I sometimes can't believe it myself. Nausea and sickness. This sickness is coming back, which apparently does in the third trimester. I have gone on about the nausea in this video, so I won't talk about it too much, but the only advice I can give if you're going to go through the same thing, or if this is you, is just eat as much as possible. It's easier if you live with someone else, or you're with your partner and they can cook for you and just remind you to just bring you food. I found it quite difficult making sure I'm eating as healthy as I should be, because I spend most of my time on my own. All my jobs are different, all my work is different. I'm all over the place, so it's really hard to get any kind of routine with food. I've definitely not eaten, as healthy as I should have done. But always, sorry, heartburn. Yeah, my advice is also to keep an emergency stash of like Lucozade, just to keep your energy up. I don't mean fizzy drinks. I mean like an isotonic sports drinks, just because sometimes you'll just be that knackered and you know you need to cook, but you don't have the energy to cook and you feel sick because you're hungry. If you have a bit of an isotonic sports drink, just a few sips, just to give you that kick, then you'll have that energy to be able to make yourself some food. Take emergency snacks out with you. I've always got little chocolate bars. You know, you can get like a multi-pack of little chocolate bars. I always have a few of those in my bag. I make them small because I'll just eat the whole thing. It's just giving you that little boost. Might be, yeah, like sweet chewing gum. None of that is healthy, but sometimes you just need something. Like sometimes I can't even get onto the train without having a bit of chocolate, because I'm that like dizzy and hungry and stuff that I'll get on the wrong train. Squash as well in your water bottle, just for a little bit of sugar. I'm not promoting you have lots of sugar. This is more of like if you're out on the go and you're on your own, because it's quite, I find it a bit like daunting going out on my own. Like if I'm getting the train somewhere, because I don't trust myself. Like it's horrible. I don't trust myself to get on the right train at the right time because my brain just can't concentrate. So if I have like squash in my water, then that bit of sugar just gives me a bit of a kick. Does that make sense? And because you can't have a lot of caffeine either, so you can't even have like a coffee to wake you up. Yeah. I've also just got here, I've got gag reflux, I've got heartburn now, so I'm on medication for that. It's fun, it's really painful, you can't sleep because of it. It's grim. Sleep. What's that? What's that? For context, I've never been a great sleeper. I have had episodes of insomnia since I was a child because I think too deeply, I can't switch off. Tried everything. Don't tell me something you've tried. I've tried it. I've gone from 4 hours of sleep to 3 hours of sleep to now 2 hours of sleep. Most nights I'm getting 2 hours of sleep, and that's not an exaggeration because I know in general some of us say, oh, I didn't sleep last night. You still got 6 hours. I'm sorry, it really winds me up when people do that. When people do that, oh God, I didn't sleep last night. I know you got 6 hours sleep. Stop it. That's sleep. Anyway, sorry. I think we all know people we all know people. If you're someone like me that doesn't really sleep, you all know someone that says the same thing, and you know they've had 6 hours at least. Just because you didn't get your full 8 hours, you think you've had no sleep. Shut up. Sorry, that was really uncalled for. I have 4 half-an-hour naps in the night. It's horrendous. It's really bad. And the thing is, if I was getting that, not being pregnant, I'd be having a hard time. But having 2 hours of sleep every single day in 24 hours whilst you're like heavily pregnant. What, like how, I don't know how I'm creating life. I don't know how other people do it who are in a similar situation. I will wake up I will wake up every 30 minutes, go for a wee, get back into bed, can't sleep because I'm in that much pain and there's too many symptoms. It's not like my mind's just going active. I mean, it is, but all the other physical symptoms are meaning that I just can't sleep. So I'm on 2 hours sleep a night, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm incredibly miserable because of it, if I'm honest. Weeing all the time, and the annoying thing is you don't mind needing a wee if you go and you wee, but sometimes you really are in pain, so you go for a wee and nothing comes out, like hardly anything comes out. It's annoying when you're out and you're busy and you're doing stuff, and you suddenly gotta like find the toilet. I really need a wee, and you go and like the smallest bit comes out. That's just infuriating, and I know that just gets worse the further along you go, so I'm dreading what it's going to be like in third trimester. I'm thinking to myself, shall I just start wearing nappies at this point? Uncomfortable. You do get quite uncomfortable a lot. It really hurts when you walk, so sometimes if I'm walking with any kind of pace, my tummy really hurts. There have been a few times when I was in so much pain with my like tummy and round ligament pain, I had to get a taxi home because I couldn't walk, and normally if I have to get a taxi home it's because of my foot, because of my disability. It's horrible. When you're in bed, turning over in bed gets harder and harder as the days goes on. It takes so much time and energy. You need like a forklift just to lift you over, which again I know is just going to get worse for me. Sitting up, I've noticed that if I'm like chilling, to actually sit back up I really need to like hoist myself up. That's becoming more of an effort because I mean normally you don't even think about activating your core muscles, you get up. I'm finding that I'm having to like lift myself up, which is, yeah, you get really, really hot and sweaty at night. It's just, yeah, it's just, you're uncomfortable a lot of the time. I think that's why I wear such stretchy clothing. I think that's why I don't really cover up my bum, because I don't like the feeling of being restricted. Yeah, uncomfortable, I would say, is just a symptom, just in general. Nightmares. I have nightmares every single night. I've had nightmares every single night for, I think, the whole of my second trimester. One night, this one nightmare sticks out to me because I woke up and I was crying. This is what happened in this nightmare, nightmare, because I woke up and I was like that. What happened was I had a bag of clothes that I wanted to sell on Vinted, and Faisal took them to a charity shop instead. That was my nightmare. I mean, if that did happen in real life, I would be annoyed at him. But that was a nightmare, a vivid nightmare. I never want to experience those feelings again. And that was all the storyline was. I don't know how to stop them. I don't think I can stop them. I think it's just hormones and everything else. Exhaustion I've got here, but I'm sure I've mentioned that a million times. That goes without saying. When you're pregnant, it's the equivalent of running a 40-week marathon, so you're exhausted anyway. And then with the sleep deprivation, you were even more exhausted on top of that. So the fact that we can get up and put makeup on and film a video, I don't even know. The real, I mean, the heroes are people that save people's lives and look after people anyway, but the heroes, pregnant women that work in the NHS. How? Or pregnant women that are teachers, pregnant women that are doing jobs that are saving people, basically. How on earth? Pregnant women that work in nurseries. How? How? When you're pregnant and you have other kids, or how? Just this whole thing. I'm in awe of women every single day, because I just am. I'm in awe of anyone pregnant. I'm in awe. Like, how are you? And I know I'm doing that too, but like, how are you all doing it? Tummy pain, which I have already touched on, but yeah, you do get quite a lot of tummy pain. It's really, it can be quite panicky for people, because it's hard to distinguish what kind of tummy pain is bad enough to have to go to hospital, what kind of tummy pain is just normal. That's quite anxiety inducing. So you're getting all these different pains in and around your tummy, and you're having to work out, or try and work out, what it is and what it means. And then you might feel like a burden for messaging your midwife. You're not. Impending doom. I have this impending sense of doom. Is that the right way of saying that? But knowing my symptoms are only going to get worse. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know things are going to get worse. I know I've still got another couple of months of this. I'll say online, like, oh, I'm experiencing this symptom. Has anyone got any advice? And most people are just so lovely about it. And just, if I have any kind of like pregnancy issue, I'll just put it on my story, and people just reply and help. And I know that's what happens generally, but it's just so nice. But there's always some people that are like, oh, just you wait. Just shut up. Anyone that says just you wait to a pregnant person, I hope you have the worst day. There's such a difference between trying to help someone and then just trying to make them feel bad. But I don't know, some people just actively try and make a pregnant person feel worse. I don't know why you do that. What is the point? What are you getting out of that? My disability is a symptom that I have been struggling with. My physio thought that I'd actually thrive in my disability during pregnancy, because your body works so hard to protect itself. She said you might find that you thrive and you can walk loads and do a lot. That hasn't been the case, unfortunately. I'm just over a 6-week flare-up. In fact, no, it must be longer than that, because it was flaring up when Faisal was still home. So 7, 8, 9 weeks of a flare-up, which is one of the longest. I think it's the longest flare-up I've had since I started walking again. Just because the added pressure on my body and my bump and everything. Yeah, it's getting worse. So I need to be referred back to physiotherapy, I think, but that's something I need to take charge of. But yeah, that's just something to bear in mind if you have chronic pain conditions or disabilities. Keep an eye on it. Mental health. My midwife informed me, due to my past medical history, that there's a chance I'd develop depression and anxiety in pregnancy. I think I have a very, very mild form of depression and anxiety. I'm still able to leave the house and do stuff. That's when you know it's not taking over my life, basically. So that's how I know it's very mild. But it is there because it's affecting my productivity, thoughts. I'm finding it a little bit hard to enjoy things. Not so much so that it prevents me doing things, but yeah. And I think having to quit my job earlier this year because I was too sick to work, all of that stress and trying to catch up has been hard. I'm not apologising for anything, basically. If I have to cancel a plan, if I can't make it to something, if I'm not able to see you, or like all those kind of things, I'm just not sorry for it, because I'm growing a human being, and I think that's the right attitude to have. Just don't be sorry you're pregnant. I really think that because women are expected to still function normally and work full time and commit to social plans and do all these kinds of things, we forget the actual magnitude and the gravity of creating a life from scratch on your own, subconsciously. So I'm purposely just like, you know what, I'm doing what I want, and I'm just only going to do it. I'm going to do what I feel comfortable, and that's that. Mentally, I beat myself up for feeling like a lazy cow. I literally sometimes, if I can't do something or I have to have a day of not doing much, which for me, I'm still doing stuff, I get really wound up and I feel like the world's laziest person, and I feel like everybody's behind my back calling me lazy. Nobody's doing that. Not one person's done that. No one's given me the impression that they're doing that. Everyone has been so lovely. It's just my inner monologue, like, God, I'm not doing much today. They're going to think, Jesus Christ, look at her just sitting there. I'm 6 months pregnant. Restless leg syndrome is so bad. I didn't know it was a thing until I got it. Google it if you want to know more about it. It's not just a pregnancy thing. I think you can just get it. God, it's just like when you're in bed and you're lying down, like you just want, you know, what is it, Stretch Armstrong? What's that toy that you would stretch, you know, when you were a kid? That like man, that big like henchman, and you stretch him. That's the only way I can describe, like, it's this burning desire, just do that to your leg oh my, it's as infuriating as it sounds. Restless leg syndrome, oh my god. And you go to stretch out and then you get cramp, and it's not just, it's really, really bad cramp. And I know that could be a sign of dehydration and stuff like that, which, to be honest, I probably need to eat even more Celtic sea salt and drink even more water. But oh my gosh, yeah, just people making comments about my work situation, like, why are you trying to stress me out? Shut up. Hormones are getting worse. You can probably tell by the tone in this video. I'm just a little bit, I just can't. I just don't care, and I just can't. And a lot of people say when they become mums, they just stop caring about things that aren't important. Like, they just don't care. I feel like I'm like that already. I don't care. There is so much more that I want to say, probably, that I can't think of right now, but I'm aware that this video is going to be super, super long. I would definitely do more videos in my third trimester, talking about all things like boundaries, what I've brought, feelings, symptoms, more regular videos like that. But I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was interesting, or that you found it useful, and that you found it honest. Yeah, if you have any questions or whatever, feel free to drop a comment, no problem. And I will see you in the next video. I really, really hope that you're having an amazing day, week, life, hour, lunch break, whatever it is. I'm sending everybody so much love and light and happiness. Drink some water, stay hydrated. And yes, I will see you in a new video, hopefully very, very soon. Bye guys.